October the 21st, 2015, and I forgot to give you notice. Hilda? Yeah. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Father in heaven, thank you for this day. Please help us to always remember to tell you thank you. Also, dear Lord, we ask you to bless our families and the people here that are gathered to make good decisions for the county of Hidalgo. Please bless all those who work so hard to keep our nation and our state and our valley safe. And we ask these things in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Our agenda, consent agenda, is our auditor here?
We have Ms. Linda.
Are there any concerns?
No, sir.
Move for approval.
Second.
I had a question
What?
before.
There's one item, Judge, excuse me.
Oh, under consent, Judge, if we could pull item 8H.
That's the motion, pulling up
Can you add 3A and 3D to that motion, Commissioner?
3D
And 3A.
and 3.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, what was that first one?
Ms. Marty, 8H?
No action.
Okay, no action.
Okay,
No, that's
that's
fine.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, at the department's request, no action.
Thank you.
On 3A, I was looking at the item, and it's one of those suites, but the money's going into the county-wide administration contingency account. And I was wondering why it was not being placed in the fund balance.
Judge Commissioners, usually we use these salary sweeps to fund items that come up during the year.
But are we counting it as part of our fund balance?
No, we are not.
And did, all right.
No, Judge, actually, that's the working budget that we have for the year. So this is areas where we had lapses for whatever reason. They're swept put into that countywide contingency account.
Correct.
Then for tracking purposes, and then from that contingency account, then it's moved over into the area that needs to be funded. We do have those issues that have popped up. And as an example, one of the bigger ones was the rain event that we had that we couldn't not have expected. And so there's areas that we need to cover with that pertain to that rain event.
But is that a separate item on our budget?
It's a line item contingency account.
The contingency is just basically a holding account. Basically what we do, all of the lapses go to the contingency account. As events occur during the year that were not funded during the budget process and need funding, similar to what Mr. Guerra mentioned regarding the rain event, again, we appropriated $1.2 million for the rain event from fund balance. However, the expenditures were in excess of 1.8. So part of that other money, we used part of the contingencies because we did have to use some for some of the water extraction.
When we're looking at the amount of unreserved fund balance in our, that we have,
Correct.
are you adding those monies to that unreserved fund balance, the monies that are obtained through these sweeps?
No, they're not added into that until at the end of the year. At the end of the year, any unused funds then at that point get rolled into the countywide fund balance.
Now, when you roll over these funds into a contingency, you bring every item to court for the court to approve the usage of
Correct.
any of those contingency funds, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's right.
Example 3D, the next item, where you're approving a transfer of $160,000 to pay for visiting judges. Was this amount budgeted?
No, it was not budgeted. These are for some of the judges that come in to hear cases for some of the courts.
But we know
But
year after year.
but it's from the contingency.
Correct. Yes. We every year we do have these types of expenses. We haven't earmarked any funds during the regular budget process for that. Usually, we've taken them from salary lapses. That's the way we've operated. We can, for future budgets, we can earmark additional funds, knowing, based on historical expenses, sometimes they do differ, and they do fluctuate from year to year.
You can always go back 3, 4 years and get an average or whatever.
Yes, we could do that and start earmarking funds for that.
All right. Need a motion to approve 3A and 3D?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. At this time, I would ask that you join me for a moment of silence for Judge Letty Lopez of the 389th District Court, whose grandmother, Margarita Lopez, passed away Sunday. Thank you. All right, under open forum, anyone sign up?
Yes, sir, we have 3 participants. The first participant is Ms. Opal Billman.
Good morning. My name is Opal Billman. I've never heard of a divorce settlement like the one awarded by our justice system to me. The judge's only job was to adjudicate a fair division of our community property between the 2 owners, Joe and me. The judge determined our community property was worthless. The judge took control of our community property by appointing a manager, beneficiary with successors, and noncompliance to the law when Joe died. 2 corporations, both named Billman, came into being, one to take over our community property, the other to sell and resell corporate assets as fast as possible. Would anyone suppose these corporations exist on Wall Street? I contacted the Federal Securities and Exchange Commission and the Texas State Securities Board that regulates federal and state corporations. They have no information about these 2. Do you suppose these corporations exist only on paper in our local courthouse? Do you suppose this could be insider trading? The judge awarded our community property to Billman Real Estate Ltd., and supposedly the city of Mission bought a strip of our land for the sum of $280,000 from the corporation. Does that sound like the judge is trying to sell our land to the mayor? Our community property is not an asset of any corporation. It is the debt-free community property of the estate of Joe Billman and me, pending in the 275th District Court in a defunct divorce action. Legally, the case was to be dismissed. The court wants to be able to say, we abandoned our community property, all of it, in the court. We have not. We are the owners. We hold the valid deeds to this land. The corporations are a Ponzi scheme. The only thing changing hands is money. Therefore, my 20 years of false imprisonment just gives the insiders plenty of time to sell and resell hot air. I want compliance with the law. Dismiss the divorce case, which frees us and our property from the court. We are not supposed to be married to the court till death us do part on the foundation of a simple divorce petition in which the court did nothing. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Next presenter.
Our next presenter is Ms. Virginia Townsend.
Good morning, Ms. Townsend.
Okay, we're going to talk about something I know I've talked about many times before, and that's the use of the buildings that we already own. We were trying to find out where HR is right now and whether they were supposed to stay there, and I don't think they are. And I think the rent thing comes up this month on whether we keep them there or not. And we should have some place on property that we own to put HR in so we don't have to rent someplace. We've said this so many times before, and I don't know why it keeps happening. It's just, it's not proper use of what we own. It's just not right. And if we have a very small opportunity to move HR so we don't have to get another contract to rent, then I think we ought to do it. Today's the 21st, which doesn't leave us a whole lot of time in this month, but I think we could manage to do it. Anyhow, it needs to be done. It's probably not the only case. It's just one that we happen to ask about today. Okay, thanks.
Presenters,
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Paul Villarreal.
Good morning. Morning, Judge, Commissioners. It's good to be here. I just wanted to let you know that the Hidalgo County Tax Office, the Appraisal District, and the firm of Linebarger, Hergang, and Blair, we're getting together because it's so important for us to inform our taxpayers, our public. So we have what we call questions about your property taxes. We're having a meeting tonight at 5:30 at the City Hall, City of Edinburgh, and we're going to host some more throughout the county, as probably next year. So like that, we can invite the taxpayers, and we can go ahead and have them come over and ask questions. Normally, you don't get the chief appraiser, the tax assessor, and the attorneys at one time, and I think it's going to be important that for them to answer questions, ask us questions and for us to answer. So it'll be something that I'm excited. I want to thank Ms. Lucy Canales and also Tiffany Solis. They're the ones that actually go out there and find the place so we can go ahead and have this. So hopefully as the people start knowing that we're having this, they can come out here and see of all the exemptions that they can qualify for, whether it be their homestead, whether it be they're over 65, whether it be a disabled veteran, can you apply for a contract, if it's your home residence? Those are all the good things that we want to let, if they ask us questions, we'll go be able to answer. If they want to talk about values, if they want to talk about, well, what about if they're behind? Can I make payments, contracts? What about if I get a lawsuit? Those are things that are important. So I'm very proud of what we're going to be doing here. Just keeping the people informed, since they're the ones that they pay our taxes, and very proud of this county. So we're going to be out there today, and maybe next time we'll give you more time. I know that I did come out on Channel 12 for the City of Edinburgh, but everybody's invited, so hopefully we'll get where people can understand what we do as far as county government. So thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Judge, we have no other participants.
All right, sir.
Judge, Commissioners, and I do apologize, I should have been doing this from the get-go, or from the start, as they say. At every Commissioner's Court, I'll just give the constituents a friendly reminder of the 3-minute rule with respect to open forum. Okay, thank you.
All right, next item number 6A, our Sheriff's Office.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
Richard Ozuna, Sheriff's Office, Hidalgo County, of course, on behalf of our Sheriff Eddie Guerra. He'd like to send notification to the court that the Commission of Jail Standards actually was at our location October 15th and 16th, inspected our jail, and with good news, we passed for this year. And certificate is in the mail, of course. We haven't received it yet, but should be in a couple of days.
Congratulations, sir.
Good deal. That's under 6A. Under 6B, we're requesting approval of interlocal agreement, memorandum of understandings for our shooting range use training between the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office and the following departments under A, B, and C, which is the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and the Willacy County Sheriff's Office. And we're requesting under item 2 is the authorization for our county judge as the authorized official and our county sheriff to sign the 3 documents on the MOUs.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
That's all we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item 7A.
Judge, thank you. Judge, Commissioners, I'm asking consideration and action to approve a settlement offer from Chubb Group of Insurance Companies in the amount of $35,353.62. And this will settle, or these are for damages sustained to our Sheriff's Office during the rain event of May 12th, 2015 through May 15th, 2015.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 8A at the Fire Marshal's Office, Judge, we're asking acceptance and approval to reimburse Mr. Gutierrez, and that would be Luis Gutierrez, in the amount of $229.20. This is for the cremation of our canine outlaw. Obviously, this is with the authority for the county treasurer to issue payment after review, audit, and processing procedures are completed by our county auditor's office.
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 9, Precinct 4.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Item 9.1, approval of certification of revenue certified by the county auditor for Precinct 4 miscellaneous reimbursements, the effluent line project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And 9.A2, approval of 2015 appropriation of funds for Precinct 4 in the amount of $106,045.23, and that amount will go into account number for the record 5-1200-360-00-124-000-000 and $24,066.50, and for the record that will be moved into account 5-1200-341-50-124-003-000.
And for the record, these are funds coming from other interlocal agreements that we've had with other entities to provide some services for them. So these are non-county funds that we're getting back to some of the work we did.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
When you say non-county, you,
Joint agreements with the city of Edinburgh. They were
money that we didn't get from taxes or,
Within our
additional
county.
dollars that came into the county.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sorry. I'm giving Baldy a heart attack. But anyhow, no, when you fix the sheriff's roof, does that take care of it now? I know we've had problems for a long time about the roof
I can't comment on that.
at the jail. That's not public forum.
No. I'm saying I wouldn't be able to respond that is not, I'm not the authority with respect to the issues that are happening there with that structure. So I can
Really?
get you an answer.
Who is?
Get you an answer.
Okay,
I'll get you an answer.
fine, thanks.
Go ahead, say again.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners, Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget Management. Item 10A is approval of ACH payment to the Department of Health and Human Services via pay.gov for the county's 2015 Affordable Care Act transitional reinsurance fee in the amount of $290,620.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Steve, did we vote on 9A?
I have, you did vote on 9A, two different votes.
I think 9A
The 982, we
was
didn't
the
vote
one.
on.
I think we
I
need
thought you
the
did.
vote.
Well, let's go ahead and vote on it. Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, item 10B1 is approval of 2015 appropriation of funds in the amount of $16 million to fund various precinct projects from proceeds received from certificates of obligation, Series 2015A.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 10C is approval of 2015 interfund transfer from Precinct 4 Road Maintenance Program 007 to the Doolittle Recovery Project, Program 162, in the amount of $80,000.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Purchasing,
Martha Salazar for Purchasing Department, 11A, Precinct 1, presentation of the sole quote received from Republic Services as detailed in the tabulation sheet contained herein. meeting all specifications and requirements for the purpose of award and approval of contract, but in no event to exceed $50,000. That is to Republic Services as stated for collection of brush and debris project. We had 3 packets distributed and the one sold response received.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
11B1 for Precinct 2, acceptance and approval of work authorization 5 with an estimated cost of $6,912.09 as submitted by L&G contract number 125 to provide construction material testing services for the Precinct 2 Owasso Road, Raul Longoria to Alamo Road project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is acceptance and approval of work authorization 6 with an estimated cost of $3,456.05 as submitted by L&G, contract number 125 to provide construction materials testing services for Precinct 2 Ridge Road, Stewart to Cesar Chavez project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C1, this is acceptance and approval of the following items for Border Colonia CAP Project 196, Delta West Subdivision between Dow County and 2GS LLC, as submitted to the project engineer, Those Logistics. A, final construction contract awarded on July 21st in the amount of $406,722.20. That's A.
Move for approval on A.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 263031, and in the interest of expediting the project's progress, requesting authority and approval for the precinct commissioner or designee, historically Raul Lozano, to execute change orders that involve an increase or decrease in the cost of $50,000 or less. The original contract price may not be decreased by 18% more without the consent of the contractor.
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item D1, this is for the Sheriff's Office, presentation of a request by Dr. Marin Garza, MD, for Hidalgo County Commissioners Court to accept the withdrawal or rescission of his letter of resignation on Commissioners Court meeting of September 1st, agenda item 50831, effective November 1st of this year for physician services to Hidalgo County inmates, and thus continuing his current agreement until its expiration in May of 2016.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is acceptance and approval for Hidalgo County Commissioners Court to accept Dr. Marin Garza's request to lower his malpractice insurance coverage from their current limits and amend them to coincide with those required by other state agencies, i.e. the state prison system and MHMR, from to 2,000K, 6,000K, with the exception of surgery and obstetrics, which are not part of the services rendered to Hidalgo County, with said amended coverage to run until his current agreement expires.
200 to 600K.
200 to 600K, yes.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E1, this is countywide. This is presentation of the scoring and evaluation grids for the purpose of ranking for award by Commissioners Court of the responses received in connection with the request for proposals for Section 125 voluntary insurance products and COBRA administration fees for Hidalgo County, including all funding sources, programs, agencies, and entities. You have in front of you, I laid on top of your desk a green file folder. This gives you the information as to the current vendors. We had 25 packets requested and 23 received. You are going to be given each product's highest scored product, company, and then you're also being given a little grid that shows what those products provide, what are those benefits, and it gives you an idea as to how they were selected side by side based on as the court has often said, the biggest bang for the buck to the employee as far as coverages and their costs. We do have 2 representatives here on the original grading committee, which would be Mr. Raul Silguero and Mr. Sergio Cruz. If you want to go by product, I can start that way. It's at your pleasure, Commissioners.
I have a quick question, if I may, Judge.
Yes.
Just looking at the first page of the way it was scored, we have a huge,
I don't have that. Pardon me?
that I was looking at some of the scores, and I see some huge variances with people scoring like a 72 and a 75. Should we relook that and have less, I mean, those kind of spreads? I mean, one person, if they vote again, and I don't have anything in particular, right, but I see a 72, a 69, and a 75, and I think, are those thrown out, like the lowest scores, or they're all averaged out?
They're all averaged
So
out.
one person can score it real low, and everybody else could have it, at a, let's say, 98s and 100s. That's going to throw it all off if we use this type of grading system, not just in this, but in other stuff.
Well,
We need to come up with, like, say, for example, if you had a 1 through 4, you wouldn't have such a huge variance. But in this situation, like, how did everybody else come out with such a high score, and one person throws it way off with a low score?
And I will concede that it is a subjective review by the grader. They may have missed something in the response that is reflected in their score. I know that we had the meet at our.
Let's just consider
department.
that. I mean, it's too late on this one. Let's just consider that for next time. I mean, like, it can really throw off a grade for one person to have that much authority.
Right.
When everybody else finds it,
We
of
could
equal
also,
value.
we could also include, as you were suggesting, that in the next round, you throw out the lowest and the highest and leave the most consistent
Just look at
grades
it. Just-
in
I think
place.
It
it's
just
better-
jumps out at me.
I think it's better what Eddie suggested, 1 to 4, and that's about it from now on.
Just grade 1 to 4,
Yeah.
I mean, just
as
find,
opposed to giving them a 25.
just find a way to get out
point.
of that, because one person will really have a big influence on kicking somebody out if they didn't want them. You know what I mean? When everybody else sees it equally, and then one person is 25 points off, I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Okay?
I had a,
Yes, sir.
let's see, we had 7 products that we're gonna be, awarding this morning. And who, as I understand it, we did not have a consultant.
We have never had a consultant on our Section 125. I have requested for many years. The court has not seen fit to make that expense, but I do tell you, even from my graders, I am getting that request. It is a very daunting task to.
A very what?
Daunting task to
Yes.
go in there and completely educate yourself on what is being offered as opposed as what is being requested. We may set a baseline, but then you have your vendor sending you what they interpret to be your baseline. And so it is quite difficult. But I can tell you that this committee met numerous times. They met in the same room, but they did not share. They shared general information only as far as, we got clarifications, the questions that were going to be asked of the
That
vendors. and
implies
then-
that you had 5 graders that were of equal knowledge, and they all did their own deal, and then they averaged it out and came up
Correct.
with an amount.
They are independent in their grading, based on the criteria that is set forth.
Who came up with that criteria?
The court approved it when it was
Well,
presented
I
to
know
the
we
court.
approved it, but I don't know anything about insurance. I'm not sure who on the board does. But I mean, where did we come up with all this criteria?
We set out to, in fact, this year, we made a bigger attempt to set out a criteria of what was the value of each, and I don't have the,
Judge, I think we've always struggled with the issue of criteria. In this particular instance, we had like 10 items to consider. One, we had the experience of the company that was evaluated. We evaluated their financial strength, financial capabilities.
Where did you get all that information?
It was provided by, it was requested in the RFP, and it was provided by the carrier, by the vendor.
But you're the grader. not
Yes, sir.
Where did you get all the information that you're supposed to grade on experience in the industry? I've been given the selection criteria.
Yes, sir.
Experience in the industry, proof of financial stability. I mean, how did you go about finding
We-
that?
We requested that they provide that information. They provided financial reports. They
Right,
provided.
but where did we get this criteria? The criteria
Oh.
is something that we have morphed from different jurisdictions, putting out this type of request for proposals. So this is not in any way a departure from what school districts, other counties, or other jurisdictions going out for this type of product. This appears to be the standard, the standard
I
criteria.
agree with you if we had a consultant that's someone knowledgeable. that-
Well, let me tell you what I did do. Several years ago, I did send, at my own request, I asked a consultant who didn't participate, who is a consultant, and we weren't going after consultants, to review our core and basic criteria and the requests that we were sending out. And he gave me a couple of improvements only, as he's done this for, like I said, jurisdictions of counties, school districts, cities, and other municipalities. And we were not off in any way from the criteria that's requested.
Marty, you can't say for the record who that individual was that gave
Yes,
you that.
it was Mr. Rusterberg, Bill Rusterberg.
Okay.
He's from Cameron County.
Okay.
He goes and does a lot of seminars for us, but he is a consultant.
No, I was just wondering.
No, and only because I knew him, I had even offered to reimburse him for his time. He just reviewed it. He just brought a couple of things to my attention, but this is not a departure from what he sees, and he, as a consultant, requests to go out on RFP.
Okay.
Plus, we do look at other jurisdictions. Like I say, I can ask some other counties of this size that have cafeteria plans to send me their RFPs, and we select the best and cull what we feel is not applicable to us. But generally, these are the criteria that are used.
Judge, to get back at your question, we could have, it would have been an okay thing to do to hire a consultant to evaluate the products. They're very knowledgeable, probably more knowledgeable than we are about the different products. However, our situation in the county is this is voluntary products. We're facilitating these programs for our employees. We're not providing.
I think we have a greater responsibility because it's not our money. We're dealing with 3,500 employees' money.
Exactly.
They're trusting us to pick the best plans at the cheapest price.
Well, from what I understand, y'all didn't y'all?
Well, the plan, we have to realize one thing is that we requested that these plans were better or equal to what we already had, and we did the same thing 3 years ago.
Are you all, when y'all graded this, y'all got it where it'd be better for the?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes,
The best-
definitely.
Yeah.
That is how we go in.
The benefits for the last 9 years have been the same. There have not been an increase in premiums to the employees. There has not been a decrease in the benefits and the programs because we have requested in the last 2 RFPs that we have the same or better, that we get the same product or better than our existing one. So that from that perspective, the employees have been protected over the last few years of inflation, if you will, in the healthcare area. But on the consultant thing, Judge, my concern is that we, as a county, we spend a lot of time servicing these accounts, these problems. We spend a lot of time working with the carriers where employees are deleted or they're not being payroll deducted correctly or they're not being provided their benefits. Our insurance department is spending a lot of time, and I think it'd be worthwhile to hire a consultant that would come back and review our operation in terms of how do we best provide these products with minimal impact to the county, where our primary role would be the enrollment facilitating and the payroll deduction, so that we have a system where we hold maybe the agents more accountable to service the accounts. How do we put that into an RFP? How do we operate this program so that it has the least minimal impact to the county.
Is that up to the insurance company to provide the agents to do the enrolling,
Yes,
to assist in the claims?
yes.
And are they doing it now?
They try, and in many cases they try, but we have issues with the carrier. You know, the carrier, in some cases, is not cooperating, and that's one of the reasons we went out for bids, is we have 4 products, if you noticed on your first page, cancer, whole life, critical illness, and accident are serviced by Transamerica, one company that we have been experiencing a lot of difficulties. Ms. Flora Vasquez, by the way, who is the insurance coordinator, is here in the audience. She had been out on leave, so she has not participated, but she came today in case you had any questions. But we have had a lot of issues, and that was one of the reasons that prompted us to go out for bids, because of the issues we have with Transamerica. Now, since we are requesting the same or better, we're not going to lose anything. We're going to keep our current benefit levels for at least the next 3 years. But I do think we need to look at how we carry out this function. I think we need to.
If we vote on this thing today, we're going to be committing ourselves to 3 years, from what I understand.
Yes, it's a 3-year
So
commitment.
it's not a 1-year commitment.
No, it's a 3-year
You
commitment.
just said
At
3
the
years,
same price.
Yeah.
but it's a 3-year premium lock.
I thought it was a
And then,
one-year commitment.
Judge, you also need to realize that the graders
Because
are
we
also
talked about
consumers.
bringing in a
We
consultant
go in
next
there
year.
knowing that
The
we,
graders that, I'm concerned about the knowledge and experience that they may have in
So
evaluating
we can
insurance
renew it.
companies.
well, I think we had a lot of input. We had very good input from Ms. Flora. We had a lot of input from her assistant. I know that these graders, and I've been at the committee before, you totally, educate yourself on what we're requesting. We understand what our baseline is and what is being offered. So as far as being lay people, yes, they are lay people, and I've been a lay person, but you do know how to evaluate and score against that criteria, which is not far from what everyone else requires.
Marty, I'm going back to what Raul was saying regarding consultant, and I know that there's if you look on all markets, there are some. They even have a benefits administration program, and so a Ben admin system that will help. Again, we're talking about employees. Will help the employees assure that they get the benefits that they need.
And this year, those agents are committed to having a person, it's once a week, is that correct?
Well, and that's all I'm asking.
And because
In
we
regards
did
to this.
experience some difficulties, they are going to try to assist our benefits department. In other words, we're going to try to turn the tide around to where benefits is
They're
assisting that
So we're
service
talking about
representative.
servicing agents.
Servicing agents at the cost of the awarded agent, so that employees that are having these difficulties, it's not all taken on by benefits. It behooves them to keep that company, if they are awarded,
Right.
to be rendering the services that they alleged and were awarded.
Well, I know, Flora,
Yes, ma'am.
could you tell us about, they tell us that you're concerned about some
Transamerica.
issues involving Transamerica.
One of the main issues is that the employee's not getting the benefit that they purchased for during enrollment. So we're having to reconcile every month and trying to get them to issue the policies. That's one of the main concerns.
But you've got a servicing agent. Why isn't the servicing agent?
The servicing agent assists
making
us.
commissions
They
on
do assist us, but again, like Raul said, it's really up to the vendor. If they're not cooperating with us, there's not much we can do. But keep insisting.
But in this last award, we were not requiring, like we'd had in the past.
Right.
To have someone actually come on site.
We don't have an agent on site at this
We
time.
got 3,500 employees, we got claims coming in from all over. We should have somebody,
Correct.
if you go, I'm familiar with the Edinburgh School District, they have somebody on site. I'm not sure who
But they
else.
also have consultants.
We don't have anyone on site.
But we did
Well, it's a
not have one on site.
complicated
and
area,
now-
this insurance is.
It
a
is very complicated,
area.
and we have to be, it's a
But in
constant,
this new award, they will be
right.
responsible for providing.
With this,
They will be responsible for providing us services on site.
we are asking that they be on site at least twice a week with this new
And have
RFP.
they agreed?
Well,
They have
if,
to.
once we award, this is something that's
This was part of the
That-
RFP.
that's agreed on.
If they weren't interested, they wouldn't have submitted.
right. It's
They
part
know
of the
that's part of
RFP.
the obligation.
Are you requiring at least one person on site, or are you requiring a certain number of individuals?
At least one
Twice a week.
twice a week, or as needed. Twice a week
Is
for
the
sure
minimum.
is the minimum.
I noticed that, for example, in the cancer, how many people, how many companies submitted proposals?
We've had, let me tell you.
I'm sorry, I was out on leave, so I'm not familiar with that, but let me,
Three.
Three companies did.
That submitted proposals or that you ranked?
well, what happened, judges, we had a total of how many?
23 received.
23 proposals received, so what we did was get together to start the elimination process. If they didn't meet the criteria based on the RFP, then they were not graded. So then we ended up with, how many? 23? I'm sorry, 7 were eliminated and 16 were,
23
16,
companies submitted proposals?
For a various number of products.
Well,
right.
I'm talking about cancer.
and the cancer, we had 3.
Pretty qualified.
Three
wants to know how many-
qualified
No, I'm not
vendors.
asking for 3 qualified or non-qualified, just how many submitted proposals?
How many have you received?
We eliminated 7, but I'm not sure how many of them are cancer. I'm not sure. It's not here.
No, we don't have it in our summary.
Angelica, do we know?
I'll give you some.
3? We had 5 eliminated?
2 were eliminated.
Okay, 2 were eliminated.
Marty's computing it.
2 were eliminated.
Two were
2
eliminated that proposed.
cancer policies were eliminated.
I show we had 6 submittals.
For cancer?
Yeah. 1, 2. I mean,
3,
3,
4, 5.
5, 6.
Okay, and we had
There
6.
were 6 originally submitted, 3 were eliminated because they didn't meet criteria, 3 were considered and graded.
And did we keep the same one from last time, or is it a different one?
It's a different one.
They're different.
They're
And
different.
one of the main reasons why we eliminate them is because they don't meet the 3-year rate guarantee issue. So
3-year what?
3-year rate guarantee.
Rate.
We ask them to keep their rates for 3 years in a row.
If they didn't commit,
and if-
they didn't meet the minimum requirement.
Sure. I just didn't hear the word.
And that's a norm, guaranteeing a 3-year rate.
Right.
Okay.
Was there anything else used besides rate? Was that it?
Oh,
Oh,
no,
def-
there was different criteria. They had to,
We do
So they
have
could
a
have met the
criteria.
rate, but they had something else.
Right. The benefit may not have been
as a base, it may not have even met the,
For example, the cancer benefit that we have right now is we have a wellness reimbursement of $100, and that's what we're asking for or better. And if they just reimburse $50, then we wouldn't elect that one. We would eliminate that one, right? Because we want to move forward.
Did we, in the end, did we wind up awarding it to the company that had the least expense, the one that was cheaper?
I hope not.
cheaper's not necessarily
I
the best
understand,
one.
I understand.
It was better than even our base for a price that is still the best value.
And the best value was determined how? I'm trying to understand the
In
process.
giving us benefits that are, if not equal, better than what we were receiving.
The amount of the benefit, Judge, for example, we have a cancer policy that says, well, if you are diagnosed with cancer, the policy limit is going to be $15,000, okay? The difference between that company and another one would say, well, I'm going to give you $30,000, not $15,000, but I'm going to charge you 10 cents more per policy. Those are the
variables
differences,
that can
the
be-
variables.
Do you get a richer plan for a price, even if it is a little better, but it is, the value is there.
So it's not only the rate, but the benefit itself that we need to look at.
Can we, instead of awarding it for 3 years, award it for 1 year and see how it works out?
The RFP does not allow it. It's a 3-year, it's a 3-year commitment.
Then they would have to go back because they eliminated some of those people that were not in there.
Judge, remember, you also have to consider from the vendor side. The vendor side, had they known it was only for 1 year, all premiums would have changed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's volume that they are also hoping participation
But this,
on.
this plan can be, the current plan that we have right now can be extended for a year and then we can bring in a consultant?
Extended.
Yes, we can extend it because this is a 5-year contract with the option to renew after the 3rd year. So yes, we
There
can.
may, I'm just wondering, and I'm going to refer myself here to legal counsel, we went out on a, and now we don't have to award, I guess.
But know that the rates are subject to increase. Okay,
Right.
that's one of the items we're facing if we do renew with the current vendors.
And we have the issue still with Transamerica.
And so we have those recurring issues. I received.
If
I
you were
received a
to
call-
award today, then depending on their service and if they meet the criteria as we go through the year, then we could practice that 60-day rule, no? Where we can cut them off if they're not meeting the
I don't
criteria,
know.
the
Is there a
requirements.
termination? We usually have a termination in the RFP. So let me look real quickly here. I'll tell you.
The way I see it, if we're
I think
gonna
it's a
get for
60 day.
3 years without any
It's in the legal
increases, why not go for 3 years?
If we have the best one.
But yeah, well, we're supposed to, I mean, we don't trust our employees. I mean, we got Raul, we got Sergio,
Oops. Oh,
we got
so
everybody
sorry.
we appointed.
Well, but I'm just concerned about their knowledge of insurance.
No, well, I mean, come on, if they don't know what's going, they're running our department, we need to change them.
But if they're not running the insurance.
No, it's Flora, is in charge of insurance.
And she'd be the first one to tell you, we need a consultant.
No, but I mean, right now, the way it is, she even said it. If we don't go out and we don't accept this, it might change. We might go out next month or next year or whatever, and it might be a lot higher than what it is right now, right?
Yes, sir.
So what you're saying is if we extend the current for 1 year, we don't have a rate guarantee with them. They could change the rates.
They could also change the benefit.
The 3-year guarantee already ends this year.
Can you
How long do we
negotiate that?
Could we wait? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Judge. I'm throwing everything out there so that we
Right.
can make the best decision. Could you negotiate if we extended it for 1 year, could you negotiate and say, keep the rates as is, keep it for a year? And if they said no, then you come back to us and you say, that's off the table?
Judge, let me read from term of
Before you
agreement.
do that,
Hidalgo-
Marty, let me say.
But I think this will answer your question.
Can we wait before we vote on this for a week or a month and in between?
No,
We
they
can
gotta
hire
enroll
a consultant to look over everything and then.
No, because
have
the
enrollment
enrollment
that we
starts
need to
in
We have the enrollment
November.
process that needs
Sir,
to
what
be-
happens is, and my experience was last time, the court awarded the vendor, and then they were all rejected. So then we went out for bids again. So then they awarded the vendors in March, and I only had 2 weeks to enroll. It was chaos. It was
Let me read
impossible.
here.
So
The term-
my
when
concern
does
right
this
now is
policy
that
end?
if you don't vote today or within the next week or so.
December 31st, Judge.
So we got more
We
than
have
2
to
weeks.
enroll, Judge. That is a
We have an enrollment
process.
process, Judge. We
How long
collect
is
a
the
month in
enrollment
advance.
process?
So then if we
2 to 3
delay this,
weeks.
we're gonna end
How
up
long
with
is the
2
enrollment
months
process?
at one
I
time.
had scheduled
The
enrollment
employees,
starting,
the employees.
right, November 5th, I believe.
Remember, you have
If
to
I
take the,
can recall.
let me read from the
Marty,
term
my
of the
biggest
contract.
concern, and I'm not sure who else may or may not share it, is the fact that we don't have a consultant advising us. We're no longer a small company, with 3,500 employees plus strong, and I'm sure that the claims are going to be in the thousands, and the people that sign on to these plans are going to be in the multi-thousands. I just feel like we need to hire somebody to come to Rusterberg or somebody to come in and look at all these plans and tell us, you got the best plan in cancer, you got the best plan in dental, you ought to do something about vision or whatever this may be.
What I would recommend is that you go ahead and award today, and then next year, if we are not
If
satisfied,
we award today, we're committing.
That's what I'm trying to
3 years,
respond to.
Laura.
Option,
Hidalgo County is seeking 3-year rate guarantee agreement, period, with benefits favorable to the county. The county shall have the option to terminate during the term of the agreement or at each anniversary date with cancellation provisions. It's all because, and non-payment is not an issue. It would have to be for the will of the county to terminate if we feel that they are not providing the services and the benefits at the rates they were.
we can approve it subject to that.
right.
Well, it's in the RFP. The
It's in
vendors
the
know.
RFP, so we can go ahead and terminate them at any time if we're not
The only question
satisfied.
I'll have in regards to that is the fact that, and I don't know how the industry works on commissions aspects of it. Are there commissions up front? Are there commissions the first year? Is it non-paying the following? What are we gonna pick up after? What potential company will pick up after?
Well,
once we
the
pay?
vendors are the one that decide the
Okay, well,
commissions.
I'm
We
just
have
asking the
no,
question 'cause
right.
I really don't know.
We are not involved in
We-
that.
we don't
in
get
that
involved with the
aspect of
commissions.
Award
Well,
at all.
my bottom line is same sentiments, is we wanna make sure we get it's the best plan, that these providers are providing the service.
Let me-
And in this case, we're obviously not in that situation.
All right, so the solution here may have to be a compromise. The award goes on today. You hire a consultant to evaluate the plan you awarded.
Marty, but let me say this once. If you hire a consultant, that consultant cannot have any role in going after a cafeteria plan or
No.
anything. They're solely
That is
there
it, that
to
has
give-
always been part of our piece. And have them evaluate what was awarded. And at the anniversary date, after that consultant's review, if they feel that there are products or a product that needs to be revisited, then that's a report back to you. But right now, you do not have the luxury of waiting, because the enrollment plan, remember, payroll deductions have to start taking place. People have to make decisions as to whether they're gonna keep their current product post-tax. Remember, this is all IRS regulations, so we are under a lot of time constraints. These are all pre-tax products. They are benefits to the employee on twofold.
So when do you envision hiring this consultant for him to conduct
I'll
this
have something,
evaluation?
I'll have something on the agenda next week to hire a consultant and start reviewing the awarded benefits.
I would recommend that we go further, Judge, and hire a consultant to review our entire
Process.
operation with regards to the voluntary products. You know, what our responsibilities are, or what the agent's responsibilities, how do we minimize our work, our involvement, and what needs to be, how does that need to be conveyed in an RFP so that the employees are protected and we have rely more on the agents to service the accounts as opposed to our staff.
It has become, yes, it has become it has become a section within a division, which was never the intent.
It has never been staffed, you know, it takes away from
From our group health and other
I think that would
issues.
be a good thing to do.
So I can have, if
Let me ask
not,
you one question.
first
It might
week
be
in-
unrelated, but who handles our claims? Who validates our claims and all? Who handles all that?
We just process them to the vendors. The vendor will
Process.
Right. The insurance office processes all claims. And then the vendor will communicate with the employee.
Okay.
I'll give you an example, Judge. A few years ago, I had to apply for disability, and after many years of paying a premium, they didn't want to pay me anything, you know, and I couldn't understand why. I couldn't negotiate with them because I didn't know enough about the issue and why. I had to rely on Florida and her staff to backtrack and go back to when I first started paying, to give me the support that I needed to ensure that I really qualified and they should pay me, and they finally did. But I had to rely on the insurance company to do that, and I'm sure this is only one example. I think we have one employee who is having some difficulties, already threatened to sue us because the insurance company refuses to pay for some cancer treatment or something or other. So we have those kind of issues that we get involved, and I think the only way for me, if I hadn't involved the insurance department, I would never have, I would have just given up because I I didn't understand what they wanted and why they didn't want to cover me. It's a complicated deal. So that's
And
just an example.
what's prompted us now to to return to that requirement that the agent provide assistance at a minimum of 2 times a week. There's too many questions being asked by the people who are paying for this product.
Right.
And we may not be, the staff, number one, doesn't know the company as well as their agent is going to, and what they provided in their response as the premium and the benefits that were going to be received.
Okay.
Well, I'm not assuming any of this grading went wrong. I'm not assuming that
Oh.
these aren't the best products. I'm here at the will of the court. I think
Correct.
that we need to do.
And I think that that's the compromise we can reach. If not not October 27th, then the first week in November, I will have authority to advertise. I'll have the packet ready for you to accept. We'll send it out for you to review prior to the court taking action. Yes, definitely, in every one of our consultants, that consultant cannot be affiliated, cannot receive commissions, and cannot offer products.
That will allow.
It has to be an
I'm sorry,
independent.
Commissioner, go ahead.
An independent,
They'll have to sign a disclosure that
Oh,
there's
yes,
no
they do.
affiliation or
That will allow us
past-
to vote.
No past history of.
And approve a contract be negotiated and accepted with these companies today.
No. I'm saying we need to compromise. This has to be awarded. We have no more time. What I am recommending is that we hire the consultant, review the plan that you awarded. And within that, if he feels or she feels that there are some benefits here that are not to our best interest, that they weren't, looked upon or researched enough, then we have the option, as the RFP says, to terminate, send out termination, and do it again. But that brings a whole slew of problems in itself as far as enrollments and all those deadlines.
But, Mark-
What I am saying is that that'll help make a decision.
I'm sorry, Marty, Judge Commissioner, I have a question. You say, so we have the option to terminate. What does that mean to the employee who signed up?
That's what I'm telling you.
No, but I know you're talking about the enrollment, but what does that mean at that point? I signed up for.
The consultant is
disability
very
insurance.
aware
You would
of
have to
what-
do another enrollment.
No, but what I'm saying, what does that do with respect to, I signed
The
up for
benefit?
disability, the benefit?
The
Do I-
employee,
am
the
I
employee is
automatically-
always able to keep any product they
That they-
purchase, but they will have to pay the premium. One of the requirements.
Yes.
The post-test.
Oh, yes.
Portable.
Okay, but I would imagine then whatever arrangement was with the county is off the table, and I, as an independent now, individual with the company could say, you know what, yes, we'll continue, but it's not gonna be at this rate.
No,
It'll be at-
because you're
Right.
not part of a group anymore.
But that-
Or they can enroll
potentially
with a
that
new
could happen.
company.
Then maybe it's got better
Okay.
benefits.
Again,
Right.
I would not assume that we would just terminate any
No.
product for any reason. We would have to, once we get the consultant, if the consultant goes and evaluates what we've done, looks at maybe one of the products that maybe we didn't select the best product that we could have, then maybe we go out for that product.
At
in and
the
of itself by
anniversary
itself,
date. Yeah.
The anniversary date.
The consultant
I
would
don't think
call-
that we would just terminate everything if
Okay,
we
that's-
can.
The consultant would also improve, if they saw fit, our specifications, our requirements. What are we not including? What have we left out?
I mean, the
That's
consultant
what,
could come back
that's
and say
what
that we did a
I,
great job.
that's what I highly recommend today. Yes, they all get gold stars, they all get A pluses.
Well, that sounds like a good recommendation, Marty.
So I can send out to the court what we envision this RFP for a consultant to be, and then put it on the first week in November. Try to get someone hired before the end of the year, and they can start evaluating the program commencing the first of the year.
And all of
But you will have all these new companies awarded.
Who would pay for
That
that,
has
the
to
employee
continue.
or the county? It's voluntary.
The
The
consultant,
consultant would be a county expense.
it would be a county expense,
Yes, I mean, how much more?
The consultant, you mean?
although it's not our money that is being spent. So that may become a charge to the employee.
That's what I'm asking, that's what, I'm here, I'm not really saying much, but I'm thinking,
Well, but we have a fiduciary obligation.
No, I understand, but let Steve or somebody, the auditor, figure it out. I mean, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
I can understand like the group health, that is something that is borne by the
Yeah.
county itself. It's an interesting issue and we
This
can
is
certainly
voluntary
explore it.
product, so
So your concern is the county, or should the county pay for a consultant?
That's
For a
legal.
product
I
that
don't-
is,
I don't- you know,
that
I'm
is
not saying
paid.
Can we compensate
I
for
need
it?
to look at that.
You have to look at it too.
Because, and Judge, you have a point. It becomes a fiduciary responsibility of the county. Because as I said, we have some employees who right now are very upset with, you know, Transamerica. I had one lady call me
Let's
and.
not mention any more names of vendors.
Okay, well, that's what she said. But to the point where, does it become an issue that we need to bear the cost in order to make sure that,
Let's go ahead and just approve this, Judge, and, I mean, y'all can figure it out if it's legal or not to hire a consultant and bring it back next month.
Well, do you think it's not legal, Steve?
He's gonna have to
My
look.
concern.
To hire someone to assist us in arriving at a decision on something that's maybe a little bit more complex in the north?
Well, this is a little bit different situation. In this situation, this is an employee plan, and the employees pay the premium. And normally, if consultants are hired in those type of plans, we need to go back and review the plan document and determine in the 125 plan document whether the consultant would be the expense of the employees as a
But the
group.
employee is relying on our decision-making
But
process.
the plan document, I think, is going to answer that
No, but
question.
we're doing a lot of work on behalf of these products, and the employee is not reimbursing our salaries for all the work we have. And in the past, Judge, remember one occasion where we had to pay a company out of county monies, like over $10,000, because there was a reconciliation issue with a company. We were responsible in the end, and we had to pay it out of county funds.
Again, we need to look at the plan document, see what it says.
You know, and it's okay, I mean, if you can, if the county judge's office and Steve's office get together and figure it out, you know, whatever becomes of it, becomes of it.
yes, it's going to be, I think the scope of service would go to assess and recommend the operations
The
of
county
our,
operation, yeah.
of the county operations of our Section 125 cafeteria plan. I think.
And to look at the plans that we're voting on today.
Well, yes, they're going to see what is in place once you award.
Yeah.
All right.
And review our RFP.
Of course, that would go hand in hand, and review the RFP, make any improvements, the grading system, as you suggested, Commissioner. What can they do to improve a more objective way of assessing scores? So can I proceed now?
Commissioners, any questions?
Just say yes.
Do we need to vote
Okay,
on it
yes,
now?
let me go by each product.
All right.
Okay, we're going to go to accidental plans. We have eight vendors companies that submitted. I'm going to give you the highest graded is Colonial Life at 92, with all other vendors falling below that.
You need action for that?
Yes.
For approval?
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Yes, I will. Going on to cancer plan, 3 submitted RFPs. These are the 3 that qualified, and we're going to give you the highest graded company, Humana, at 94 points, with the rest below that grade.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
On the combined short and long-term disability, we have 2 qualifying vendors that were evaluated and graded. The highest one is Unum at 95.20.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries
Critical
unanimously.
illness plan, we had 8 submissions. The highest graded company is Aflac at 93.80.
Move for approval.
Second.
You said Aflac?
Aflac.
I don't see it on my
It's
list.
the last one on your,
It's a Dutch that goes flips backwards.
Yes. Aflac. It's number 8, it's the last one.
Look on top right here.
Okay. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Dental.
carries unanimously.
Dental, there are 2 submitted qualified vendors. The highest scored is Emeritus, 94.40.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Is there a second?
Aye, motion carries unanimously.
Yes.
Vision, we had 7 qualified submissions. The highest scored vendor is Avises Incorporated at 94.80.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously.
Whole Life Plan, you had 3 qualifying submissions. The highest graded company is Texas Life Insurance Company at 95.20.
I move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously.
Okay. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, and please excuse me. There's a clarification that the consultant, of course, if I hear my direction properly, is to come in and evaluate those vendors that were awarded to see that we are getting the best premium.
But not for
And
the
the
first
plan.
year. It'll be for the second year. Because, I mean, you're gonna get.
Well, they're going to start the process.
Yes, they're gonna start
and
the
give us a report at the end, so that on the anniversary, if it warrants it, you would be advised that you terminate.
And also to look at our process.
Yeah.
And I had a little mishap here, so you'll bear with me, I don't have the last page of my agenda. There we go. Okay, oh, and then, item C is authority to finalize and/or negotiate, if required, agreements for the voluntary insurance products, or buy those, or have them available to be bought by the eligible employees.
And the Cobra Administrative Services. The agenda also
The
says
Cobra, we did not
Administrative
go
Services.
out for, we stayed with the same administration.
So you're actually asking, for C?
C, which is to finalize that they are awarded either a policy or an agreement, or that the policies be purchased from those awarded vendors by the eligible employees.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously.
That's all I have. Thank you.
The Cobra administration, we're gonna bring it back, because we're gonna renew with the same area. Remember?
Okay, yes, but that's why we didn't go out. It's going to be renewed.
Yeah.
Well, do
Cobra.
you want to add that to your motion?
Yes. Cobra will
We
be
have to
brought
have
back
a motion.
for award.
Well, that's included in my motion.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously.
Judge,
Do we have anything?
we do have some closed session items, but Judge, to be honest with you, it's cleanup work. If the court will allow me, I can just go straight to open session and just do the
I
cleanup
think
work.
you go ahead.
Okay, if, then we're skipping the closed session and going to item 14, open session. 14A, no action, real estate acquisition corporation per se. 14B, pending potential, no action. 14C, Judge Commissioners, this was an action item we had last week. Pending potential litigation, County of Hidalgo versus Volkswagen Group of America, Inc., Audi of America, LLC, and all other entities liable under the Texas Clean Air Act. Last week, we did a exemption from the bidding requirements for the Mostyn Law Firm. Judge Commissioners, I'd like to include in that, for this week, to include as well the law firm of Manuel Solis. So under 13A, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Section 262.02484, a professional service for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 13B, I'm requesting engagement with the firm of, or to include the firm of Manuel Solis for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation, and authority to submit a letter of engagement as it pertains specifically to pending potential litigation, County of Hidalgo versus Volkswagen Group of America, Inc., Audi of America, LLC, and all other entities liable under the Texas Clean Air Act.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 14D, C 497615D, Disability Rights Texas versus J.E. Ediguera in his official capacity as Sheriff of Hidalgo County. Judge Commissioners, for disclosure purposes and for the record, this is being facilitated by our Assistant District Attorney Josephine Ramirez's office.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And 14E, C 502915D, Alvaro Aguilera versus County of Hidalgo and Cesar Solis in his official capacity. Judge Commissioners, I'd like to refer to item 13A and B. 13A, request an exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Section 262.024A4, a professional service for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 13B, requesting engagement with the firm of Atlas Hall Rodriguez, specifically with Mr. Rex Leach, for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation and authority to submit letter of engagement. Again, Judge Commissioner, specific to item 14E, C 502915D, Alvaro Aguilera versus County of Hidalgo and Cesar Solis in his official capacity.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, there are no more action items, so there's no need to go back into closed session or open session 1516. All we have is adjournment.
Need a motion to
Second.
adjourn? Those in
When's the
favor?
next meeting?
Judge Commissioners,
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, we have had court, I believe it's 3 or 4 sessions in a row. I will check with your schedules, but I don't believe that I was going to schedule one for next week. I know that there was some rearranging of schedules this week from a couple of the court members, but we did need to have this because of the Cafeteria 125 plan. So I will check with your offices today. So for purposes of the general public, unless otherwise noted, and we would make contact through the media and Ms. Julia, there is no court session next week.
And we want to remind the public that this meeting will be broadcast on Thursday at 9 p.m. This week and every other week that we have a meeting. On station KMBH Channel 10.